A baseball is full of thrilling moments. Home runs that soar over the fence, strikeouts that leave batters stunned, and dramatic plays that bring fans to their feet. The energy in the stadium is electric, and every pitch holds the promise of something unforgettable. But while the excitement on the field grabs our attention, there's a deeper layer to the game that often goes unnoticed. Beneath the surface, baseball is built on a complex foundation of rules, some obvious, others hidden in the fine print. These rules are the backbone of the sport, quietly shaping every inning and every outcome. While most fans know the basics, it's the lesser-known rules that can truly change the course of a game, sometimes in ways that even seasoned viewers might miss. These subtle, often overlooked rules can decide games, swinging momentum with a single, unexpected call. They're the kind of rules that players and coaches study for years, hoping to use them to their advantage, or avoid falling victim to them at the worst possible moment. One such rule is catcher's interference, a technicality that can shift momentum in an instant. It's a moment when the catcher's glove gets in the way of the batter's swing, and suddenly, everything changes. The batter is awarded first base, and the defense is left scrambling to recover. Recently, the Philadelphia Phillies have found themselves at the center of this rule, benefiting from it in key moments that have turned the tide of important games. Their ability to capitalize on these rare calls has sparked conversation across the league and among fans. For new fans, catcher's interference might sound confusing or even trivial, but it's a perfect example of how small details can have a huge impact. These moments can leave fans scratching their heads, wondering what just happened and why it matters so much. In this video, we'll break down a pivotal Phillies-Mariners game from August 19, 2025. Where this rule took center stage and changed the outcome in dramatic fashion. We'll walk you through the key moments and show how a single call can ripple through an entire game. We'll explain what catcher's interference is, how it changed the game, and why it's becoming more common in Major League Baseball. You'll see how players and coaches react, and why understanding these rules is essential for anyone who loves the sport. By the end, you'll see why even the smallest rules matter, and how they can spark big debates in baseball. So whether you're a lifelong fan or just discovering the game, get ready to dive into the fascinating world of baseball's unseen rules. So what is catcher's interference? It happens when the catcher's glove or body touches the batter's bat during a swing. The batter needs a clear path to swing, and any contact from the catcher is against the rules. If interference is called, the batter automatically goes to first base, just like a walk. Any runners forced to advance move up as well. This rule protects the batter's right to a fair swing and penalizes the defense for getting in the way. Even a tiny mistake by the catcher can keep an inning alive and change the game's momentum. That's why catchers must be precise with their glove placement, especially against batters with long swings. A single inch can be the difference between an out and a rally. Catcher's interference is rare, but when it happens, it can flip the script in a heartbeat. Now let's see how this played out in a real game. On August 19, 2025, the Philadelphia Phillies welcomed the Seattle Mariners to Citizens Bank Park for a highly anticipated matchup. The stadium was buzzing with excitement, every seat filled as fans settled in for what promised to be a memorable night of baseball. Phillies slugger Kyle Schwarber wasted no time making an impact. Leading off the bottom of the first, he launched a towering home run deep into the right field stands. The crowd erupted, their cheers echoing throughout the ballpark as Schwarber rounded the bases and gave the Phillies an early 1-0 lead. After 2 quick outs, the energy in the stadium remained high as Phillies catcher JT Realmuto approached the plate. Known for his clutch hitting, fans watched closely, hoping he could keep the momentum going. Behind the plate for the Mariners was Mitch Garver, stepping in as the backup catcher for the night. Garver, experienced and steady, was tasked with keeping the Phillies' bats in check. The at-bat quickly became a battle. Realmuto worked the count full, 3 balls and 2 strikes, fouling off tough pitches and refusing to go down easily. On the payoff pitch, Realmuto swung and missed. The umpire called strike 3, and it looked like the inning was over as the Mariners began to jog off the field. But something was off. While the Mariners started to leave the field, Realmuto stayed put at home plate, refusing to accept the strikeout. He immediately turned to the umpire, protesting that Mitch Garver's glove had made contact with his bat during the swing, a possible case of catcher's interference. The umpire's call was suddenly in question. Phillies manager Rob Thompson quickly emerged from the dugout, joining the heated discussion at home plate. What seemed like a routine end to the inning was now anything but. The game was paused, and both teams waited to see what the umpires would decide. Players from both sides stood around, some pacing nervously, others watching the umpires intently. The tension on the field was matched only by the anxiety in the stands. The umpire crew gathered to confer, while the Phillies considered whether to challenge the call for catcher's interference, a decision that could change the course of the inning. The entire stadium seemed to hold its breath, every fan waiting to see if the inning would continue, or if the Mariners would escape with minimal damage. The tension in Philadelphia was palpable, setting the stage for a dramatic night of baseball. Realmuto was adamant. He felt contact between his bat and Garver's glove. In that split second, he immediately turned to the umpire, insisting that catcher's interference had occurred. His conviction was clear, and his body language left no doubt that he believed the play should be reversed. For Realmuto, moments like these are about more than just a single at-bat. They're about standing up for his team and making sure every call is right. Garver looked surprised, insisting he was just catching the pitch. He shook his head, gesturing that his glove had stayed back, and that any contact was purely accidental. For a catcher, these situations are tricky. One small movement can be the difference between a clean play and a costly mistake. Catchers often try to frame pitches, moving their glove to make borderline pitches look like strikes. It's a subtle art, requiring quick reflexes and a deep understanding of the strike zone. The best catchers can steal strikes for their pitchers, but it's a risky game, especially when a batter's swing is involved. But if they move too far forward, they risk interfering with the batter's swing. Even a slight miscalculation can result in catcher's interference, awarding the batter first base and potentially shifting the momentum of the game. It's a fine line between skillful framing and a costly error. The umpire had called Realmuto out, but the Phillies saw an opportunity to challenge. The dugout erupted in discussion, players and coaches exchanging glances as they weighed their options. In a game this close, every decision is magnified. With only a limited number of challenges, the decision had to be strategic. Managers know that burning a challenge too early can come back to haunt them later, but letting a crucial call go unchallenged can be just as costly. The Phillies manager signaled for a review, confident that video would reveal the truth. He trusted his players' instincts and hoped the slow-motion replay would provide the evidence needed to overturn the call. Players on both sides watched, knowing this call could change the game's course. The tension was palpable, as everyone understood the stakes involved. One reversal could swing the momentum and alter the outcome. The stadium buzzed with anticipation as the umpires prepared for the replay. Fans held their breath, some on their feet, others nervously clutching their hats, all waiting for the verdict that could define the inning. Would technology overturn the call and give the Phillies new life? Or would the original decision stand, leaving the team to regroup and refocus? The answer was just moments away, but the suspense felt endless. The stakes were high, and every eye was on the umpire crew. Their decision would not only impact this game, but could also set a precedent for how similar plays are judged in the future. This was more than a routine play. It was a test of baseball's evolving rules. As technology becomes more integrated into the sport, moments like these highlight the balance between human judgment and instant replay. The outcome would set the tone for the rest of the night, reminding everyone that in baseball, every detail matters and every call can change the story of the game. The Phillies challenged the call, and the game paused for a video review. Replay officials examined every angle, searching for evidence of interference. Slow-motion footage showed Garver's glove brushing Realmuto's bat just before the ball arrived. The interference was clear. After a tense wait, the umpire overturned the call. Realmuto was awarded first base. The inning continued, erasing what would have been the third out. Phillies fans erupted, while the Mariners had to return to the field. This moment highlighted the power of replay in modern baseball. Without it, the Phillies would have lost a crucial opportunity. Although the next batter grounded out, the call kept the pressure on Seattle and changed the game's rhythm. Technology had made sure the right rule was enforced. In today's game, even the smallest details are under the microscope. For the Phillies, this wasn't just a one-time break. It was their third catcher's interference call in less than a month, a remarkable streak. Just weeks earlier, they benefited from back-to-back interference calls against the Red Sox, both leading to runs. One even ended a game in extra innings, a walk-off on catcher's interference, the first since 1971. The Phillies were developing a reputation for drawing these rare calls, whether by luck, aggressive swings, or opposing catchers' mistakes. Each time, the interference gave them a crucial edge. For opponents, it was a frustrating trend that demanded extra caution. For the Phillies, it became a quirky but valuable part of their 2025 season story. Sometimes, the strangest breaks make all the difference. The Phillies' streak is part of a bigger trend. Catcher's interference is on the rise across Major League Baseball. In 2023, there were a record 96 interference calls. In 2024, that number hit 100. Why the increase? Catchers are now taught to frame pitches more aggressively, setting up closer to the plate to steal strikes. Batters, meanwhile, use longer, more powerful swings, bringing the bat closer to the catcher's glove. The result? More collisions, more interference. High-definition replay also means even the slightest contact is caught and called. Batters are more likely to appeal, knowing technology can back them up. The combination of new techniques and better cameras has made this once rare call a regular part of the game. Baseball's evolution is happening in real time. While the interference call was a turning point, the Phillies' win was powered by big performances. Kyle Schwarber's leadoff home run set the tone, his 44th of the season, tops in the National League. JT Realmuto, at the center of the controversy, later hit a clutch two-run homer in the 8th, sealing the victory. Bryson Stott added another home run, showing the Phillies' lineup depth. The offense's balance made them tough to beat, with multiple players stepping up. For the Mariners, it was a tough loss, their 4th straight, despite a hard-fought effort. The interference call didn't directly score a run, but it kept the Phillies' momentum alive. In baseball, a few key plays can swing an entire game. The Phillies' ability to capitalize on both power and opportunity made the difference. Sometimes, the smallest moments lead to the biggest wins. The rise in catchers' interference is forcing teams to rethink strategy. Catchers must balance framing pitches with avoiding interference. No easy task. Coaches may instruct catchers to set up further back, but that risks losing strike calls and makes blocking pitches harder. Batters, meanwhile, might be tempted to exploit the rule, swinging in ways that draw contact. Umpires will need to stay vigilant, judging intent and keeping the game fair. If the trend continues, MLB could consider rule changes or clarifications. For now, catcher's interference is a reminder that baseball is always evolving. Every inch and every second matters. The smallest details can decide a game and shape the future of the sport. In baseball, you never know which rule will make history next.